You never know when a moment becomes the moment, the one you'll remember every time you close your eyes, the kind that doesn't announce itself with fireworks or applause. No. It usually starts quiet, almost forgettable, until it suddenly becomes something you'll carry for the rest of your life. This one started with a phone call. "Dad, I need to talk," my son said. That was all he said. 6 words. No hint of emotion, no panic, just that flat, tired voice that tells you more than the words ever could. And when your grown kid, calls like that, something in your stomach sinks, slow and heavy. It had been a while since we'd really talked. Not just talked, you know? Not about the weather or football or whether his car needed an oil change. I mean the real stuff. And truth be told, maybe that was partly on me. I guess when your son turns into a man, you start backing off a little, letting him figure it out, hoping like hell you did your part right. But something in his voice pulled me out of that comfort. I told him, "Come over, I'll put on coffee." 15 minutes later, there he was. Taller than me now, broad-shouldered, still wearing that same old hoodie from high school. He didn't even say hello, just walked in, sat down at the kitchen table, and stared at his hands. "You all right?" I asked. He didn't look up, just nodded, then shook his head. "No, not really." I sat down across from him and slid the coffee his way. He didn't touch it. There was silence for a minute. Not uncomfortable, just heavy. Then he said, "I'm tired, Dad. I'm tired of pretending I have it all together. Tired of carrying everything. Work, bills, the pressure. I wake up and I feel like I'm already behind, like I'm running from something I can't even see." And I saw it, clear as day. The same look I used to see in the mirror around his age. That quiet panic, the fear of failing, of not being enough, of letting people down. I wanted to fix it, wanted to tell him everything would be okay, that I had the answers. But I didn't. So I just said gently, "Son, take it easy." He looked up. Finally. His eyes were glassy, tired, but there was a flicker in them, like he was waiting for permission to breathe again. I reached across the table, placed my hand over his. "You don't have to carry it all at once." He didn't say anything, just blinked hard, looked away, then nodded. We sat there for a while, no big speech, no dramatic music, just 2 men, a father and a son, trying to find ground in a world that never stops moving. He finally spoke. I thought I was supposed to have it all figured out by now. I shook my head. "Who told you that?" He laughed, bitter and quiet. "Everyone, I guess. Social media, friends, myself." "Well, they're wrong," I said. "Life doesn't come with a map. It comes with bruises, mistakes, trial and error. And the trick isn't figuring it all out. It's learning how to keep going even when you haven't." He looked at me, and I could see something shifting. Not everything, but something. "You ever feel like this when you were my age?" I laughed, short and honest. All the time. I just didn't know how to say it back then. I didn't even know what I was feeling, let alone how to tell anyone. He sat back in his chair, crossed his arms. "How'd you get through it?" I paused. It wasn't a simple answer. One day at a time. Some days I stumbled. Some days I swore I couldn't do it anymore. But the thing that kept me going was you. He blinked. "Me?" "You were just a baby," I said. Didn't even know how to say my name yet. But when I'd come home from work, tired and beat and doubting myself, you'd run up to me like I was the hero in your story. And for a while, that was enough to remind me to keep trying. He looked away again, this time to hide the tears forming in his eyes. "I'm sorry if I ever made you think I expected you to have it all together," I said. "That was never my hope for you. My hope was that you'd be strong enough to admit when you needed help. That you'd be man enough to say, 'I can't do this alone.' That's not weakness. That's courage." He nodded slowly, breathing, deeper now, less tight. Then he said something that hit me hard. "I just don't want to disappoint you." "Son, listen to me," I said, leaning in. "You couldn't disappoint me. Not with struggle, not with fear. You disappoint me when you hide from me. When you carry all that pain alone when I'm right here. That's what breaks my heart." He wiped his eyes with his sleeve. "I miss feeling like a kid," he said. "Like things were simple. Like the world wasn't so loud." I nodded. "Yeah, me too." And we both just sat there, remembering. The soccer games, the late-night ice cream runs, the time he broke his arm trying to jump off the porch with a cape made out of a towel. I smiled at that one. "You remember that?" I asked. He grinned. "Yeah, Mom almost fainted." We both laughed. It felt good, honest. And in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just about being his dad anymore. This was about being a man beside him, a friend, a reminder that he didn't have to go at it alone. "I don't have all the answers," I told him. "But I'm here. You need to cry. You cry. You need to yell. You yell. You need to sit in silence. I'll sit with you. But whatever you do, don't shut me out." He nodded. "I won't." We talked for a long time that night. About life. About relationships. About what it really means to be a man in a world that demands too much and gives too little. And I kept repeating those words over and over in different ways with different stories. Take it easy. Because sometimes that's all we need to hear. That it's okay to slow down, to fall apart, to start over. When he finally left that night, he hugged me longer than he had in years. No words, just that silent strength between us. And as I closed the door, I felt a strange mix of pain and peace. Pain for all the years he carried it alone. Peace for the fact that maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't anymore. You see, fatherhood doesn't end when they move out, or when they grow taller than you. It just changes shape. Now it's in the quiet moments, the gentle reminders, the whispered truths. Like that night when I reached across the table and said the only words he really needed to hear. "Son, take it easy." He didn't text the next day, or the one after that. I didn't panic, I didn't press, I just waited. Sometimes silence is a part of healing too. But on the third morning, he called. "You got time to grab breakfast?" he asked. I smiled. Before I answered, "I always got time for you." He picked the place, some diner downtown he used to love when he was little. They haven't changed the booths or the syrup containers in 20 years. We sat by the window, same as always. And I swear, as we sipped our coffee, there was something softer about him. Not fixed, not completely okay, but lighter. We didn't start heavy. We joked about the waitress who still calls everyone Han. He laughed at the size of the pancakes. We even argued over who paid, just like the old days. But somewhere, between the second refill and the last bite of toast, he said, "You know, I didn't think I could talk to you about this kind of stuff." Why not? I guess. I thought I had to be the strong one. You've always been that for me. You always looked like you had it together. I smiled. Not because he was wrong, but because I remembered the truth. "Son," I said, "I was faking half the time." He raised his eyebrows. "I mean it. I didn't know what I was doing. I worried every day I'd mess something up, that I'd fail you, or your mom, or myself." He looked stunned. I didn't show it, because I didn't want you to carry that. That wasn't your weight, but believe me, I was scared plenty. I wish I'd known that sooner." "Well," I said, "you know now, and maybe one day when you have a son, you'll tell him the same thing." He looked down at his coffee, stirring it with the little plastic spoon. "I don't even know if I'd be a good father." I leaned in gently. "You will, because you care, because you're willing to question yourself, That's already more than most do." He was quiet for a while. Then he said something I'll never forget. "I hated you for a little while." I didn't flinch. "I know," I said softly. "You were always working, always tired. I didn't understand back then. I just thought you didn't want to be around." My heart clenched a little, but I nodded. "That makes sense. You were just a kid, and I should have said something more. I should have explained why I was gone so much. I used to think I wasn't enough, that if I was better, quieter, more impressive, you'd want to be home more." That hit me hard, real hard. I reached across the table again, same as I did the first night. "You were always enough," I said. "It was never about you. It was me, trying to provide, trying to prove something to myself. And in the process, I missed out on more moments than I'd like to admit." He didn't cry. He didn't need to. He just nodded, like he finally believed me. Sometimes healing doesn't come with tears. It comes with understanding. After breakfast, we sat in the parking lot for a bit. Windows cracked, the smell of syrup still in the air. "Do you regret anything?" he asked. I took a long breath. "Yeah, I regret not slowing down, not saying I love you out loud more often, not showing up for your school play even. Though I was just sitting in a meeting that didn't matter. I regret thinking being a provider was the same as being a father." He leaned back in the passenger seat and just stared at the sky. "I was proud of you," I added. "Always. Even when you messed up. Even when you slammed doors and ignored me for days. I still bragged about you to strangers. I just didn't always tell you." He smiled. "You were tough on me, though." I chuckled. I was. And sometimes maybe I shouldn't have been, but I wanted you to grow strong. Not hard, but strong. There's a difference, you know. Strength bends, hardness breaks. He nodded again. I get that now. We didn't fix everything that week. You can't undo years of distance in a few conversations, but something changed. A door cracked open, a bridge started to rebuild. We started texting more. Short stuff, songs, podcasts, dumb memes, but each one was like a thread being stitched back between us. A couple weeks later, he showed up at my house with a 6-pack of root beer and an old photo album. "Let's go back," he said. And we did. We looked at baby pictures. Him in his Halloween costumes. Me in my old mustache days. Pictures of camping trips and birthday cakes. And we laughed. We remembered. And then we talked about Mom. She had passed 5 years before. Cancer. Quiet, stubborn, sudden. He didn't say much at the time back then. Just held it in. Handled it. But that night, flipping through those memories, he looked up and said, "I miss her so bad, Dad." And I nodded, voice cracking. "Me too, son. Every single day." I should have talked to her more. I should have... No, I stopped him. "Don't do that. She knew. She knew how much you loved her. She told me all the time how proud she was, how much she missed your voice when you moved out. She kept your kindergarten drawing in her purse until the day she passed." He stared at me, wide-eyed. "She did?" I nodded. "You were always her boy." He leaned forward, resting his head in his hands, and I rubbed his back, the way she used to do for both of us. We stayed up late that night, talking about her strength, about how she would have loved to see this moment. The two of us, grown men, finally sitting side by side. No armor, no blame, just love. And before he left, I said it again, not a whisper this time. "Take it easy, son." And he smiled, a real one, the kind I hadn't seen since he was 13. "I will, Dad."